Welcome to ChoreoCollab Podcast, where we discuss dance, film, collaboration, and more. Brought to you by Central Florida Choreographers Collaboration. I'm your host, Amanda Van Meter Birch. Today, I'll be talking with Hailey Nicole Rogers about her collaboration with us for Season 3, Project 26, Anxiety. Hi, Hailey.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. I'm excited to talk a little bit about your project.
Me too.
So, tell everybody how you got started in the dance world.
My mom put me in dance when I was 5 to break me out of my shell, and I haven't been able to stop. After high school, I moved to Gainesville, went to college at Santa Fe, and then after that, I moved home and started teaching at the studio that I grew up dancing at, and still am currently doing that now.
I haven't recorded a podcast yet that has not been the case where mamas are involved. Thank you, mamas.
Of course.
So when did it click that this was what you wanted to do?
I was probably like 11 or 12, so I'm not sure what my reasons for then are exactly the same as now, but it's just always been a really positive outlet for me to get like anything that I'm feeling or thinking out without me actually having to speak it all the time, because sometimes it's not easy to put into words, but you can let it out through like other ways.
Yes, very valid point. So tell us a little bit about your project.
My project is titled Anxiety, and it is what it is. I have anxiety, and it's something I've had for a long time, so I've learned to manage it. But I really wanted to create a piece to kind of give some insight on how it feels on the inside when you're going through like that moment or that day or however long it's lasting. And I think my dancers really did a good job making that come to life.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think it's such a hot topic right now because anxiety is experienced by so many people. And for those that don't experience it, it's really hard for them to make that connection of what it actually feels like.
Yeah.
So I think expressing awareness and sharing more about that connection, especially through art, can sort of help people make that connection, so they're a little more understanding of why people may react differently to something.
For sure. Anxiety sits in people differently. It hits everyone differently, and when someone doesn't experience it normally, they really don't always understand. I mean, they have to like maybe sit back and learn to listen, or like change their way of approaching a topic or whatever it may be with a loved one that suffers for it, to not cause it to get worse.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very true. So what was your approach in choreographing this project?
Well, I found a spoken word song originally that I really connected with. So it was choreographed to that music, and a lot of the movements came from representing word cues. But other than that, I went in knowing that I wanted it to be a little sporadic and kind of, anxious, but kind of back and forth, and like an uncertainty to it. So combining that, what I wanted with the music, it just kind of came to life. And my dancers know me very well, so they helped me when I would get stuck. They'd be like throwing out options or like words to change my view perspective. And then I found this great instrumental to do the film project to, that I think works out really well, because the way we filmed it was a little chaotic and sporadic as well. So the music being a little more tame, I think pulled it together.
Yeah, it was a great score. I thought it complemented it really well.
Yeah.
So that was going to be one of my questions, is what was the relationship like working with your dancers?
It's great. The dancers I chose for my film are previous students of mine, so I already have a good like rapport and connection with them. And because I've known them for so long, they know how I create usually. So on the moments that I do get stuck, like I said, they're like super like willing and able to give me ideas or like recognize if I just need complete silence to focus on what's going on inside.
Mm-hmm.
So it was great.
How do you think that they interpreted the choreography? Was this something that connected for them as well, or was it more imaginative for them?
I think for the most part, and from conversations that we've had, they could connect to it on a personal level, which is, I think, what like really brought it to life. And that's what I wanted from them. I didn't want to give them my experience and say, mimic this, but I wanted to communicate my experience and ask them to find how it connects within their own life and then pull that out of themselves while they were doing the movement.
In terms of the film technical side, how was that for you?
It was okay. I had help. I mean, you helped, and my dancers, when I wasn't sure how to change the stage version of this choreography to fit our setting, they helped me like kind of warp it and create the pathways instead of it being like playing back and forth to it moving circular around a home.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like that was the most difficult was probably like changing my pathways because we were already set, but I really enjoyed like the editing side of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think that's one of the more interesting backstories about this project is that it was set for stage originally and then it was converted into a film.
Yeah,
so,
and I feel like they're two different things.
Exactly. Very much. So what were sort of the positives and negatives of that shift?
The positives, I feel like putting it into a film and changing the pathways and dynamic of it almost gave it like a deeper meaning than I initially had when I had set it for stage. Because when I set it on stage and when it's on stage, it's it tends to be more about the way I do perceive it. And when we put it in the home, I don't know if it was the connection of a homey environment or what, but it felt like an individualized like scenario to each person, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it was really night and day because I originally saw it on the stage when we came to your showcase. And going from that where, I love the stage. The stage is wonderful.
Yes.
But it is sort of like a fish tank and you're very vulnerable. You're very on display. There's one perspective, there's one angle. And when we took it from the stage and you brought it to a home, like an actual somebody lives there, lived in home, it was very intimate and very personal, which I thought was a really cool dynamic. So,
yeah, I'm super happy with how it turned out.
Me too. So what were some of the challenges that arose from the film process?
I have to think about that one. Do you mean physically filming it or?
Sure. Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah. Physically filming it, like any technical difficulties or?
For me, the most difficult part about physically like filming it is probably communicating how I see in my head out loud. So like the camera operator or whoever is helping with the project understands my vision, like to communicate effectively. I'm not always the best at getting what's in here out into the real world. So that was probably for me my biggest hurdle. other than that, I feel like it went kind of, I don't want to say super smooth, but kind of smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's because it was already a created thing that we were just like transforming or what, but I feel like it was less stressful than last year.
Yeah. Well, I think you had a better idea of what to expect going forward because you had done something last year. And especially, yeah, because it was already a choreographed project. And plus, it was super comfortable in Sydney's home. It was just really, really peaceful, low key. Like we were there to do a job. We weren't out in the Florida heat, which is always a challenge. So it was a great day.
Yeah, no, Sydney's great. She's super inviting. I mean, she made everyone tea and offered snacks.
Right.
It was awesome.
It was great. If we could have a Sydney on every project,
right,
that would be great.
I see her later. I'm going to tell her you said that.
Yes, good. Tell her I said hi.
I will.
So what were some of your favorite elements for collaboration?
I like how like open all of the collaborators are. I mean, like me, you, Sarah, the dancers, Sydney, and that we know it's an open space so we can critique or offer suggestions. So I liked that. Honestly, the editing, I liked that I could send it to you and you gave me, it didn't seem like it was an unfiltered opinion. It seemed like you gave me back exactly what you thought, so I could have a true like criticism and then continue with the editing the way I then thought would work out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the outside voices are important. At least I feel like they're important to my creating process, so I can narrow down exactly what I'm seeing.
I think, yes, I think you just hit the nail on the head there, because not only are they important from a collaborative perspective, but the thing is we're trying to create a product that not only shares sort of a message that's important to us that we want to convey, but to notice that there's an audience on the other side whose perspective also matters, because you want them to like it, you want them to connect with it. So yes, viewing those outside opinions, I agree, very important.
And understanding they're not like negative hits, like you need it to make it make sense.
Right. Which is also an art to learn how to say things with love.
Yes.
So receiving criticism and giving criticism, an art.
Yes.
So was the process what you expected?
This time around, yeah, kind of. I didn't edit it last year, but so that part was new, but I had put together a few like random things here and there with editing software in the past, so I wasn't too unfamiliar. But other than that, I think it was what I expected, if not better than I had expected.
Great. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. So how'd you get involved with CFCC in the first place?
Your lovely advertising on Instagram or Facebook originally caught my eye. And I think that was during the first season. And then the second season, when you started advertising, I was like, like last year I was curious, but it was 2020 still, and COVID, and I was working full time, so I didn't put the time in. But the following year I had the extra time, so I decided to take a jump, and I'm having fun.
Well, I'm really glad you did.
Yeah.
So Hailey, what's next for you?
I have a lot of ideas right now, but I'm semi on hold just because I have a 10-month-old baby at home that I'm putting all my love into and, taking the time. But my own personal company, Tarantism Unfolds Contemporary, that I started in 2020, did our first show last year, Fleeting Cycles, and I am planning on having that be our like seasonal show. So I'm gonna try and be doing like a Fleeting Cycles 2. Instead of it being fall though, I'm going for around February if everything works out. I still got some different irons in the fire trying to get questions answered before it's solidified, but that's my goal right now.
So is it sort of like the same format? You're going to be doing like an open call for choreographers?
Yeah, I'm planning to do an open call for choreographers. I did want to open it up a little more because last year I just asked for mainly contemporary modern, and I wanted to leave it a little more open for jazz or ballet or any other styles that might want to participate. I do plan on having the same parameters about it being personal and about like a cycle of your life or a season of your life. So it's always relatable. But other than that, it's going to be a whole brand new cycle.
That's awesome. We look
Yeah.
forward to hearing more about that. But how can people find you?
I am on Instagram under, I'm going to say it and then I'm going to spell it because it doesn't make sense. It's Yelia_Nick, and it's my name backwards. So YELIAH_NIC. And that's myself on Instagram. And then in my bio, I have all the tags for the company and anything else I happen to be involved in.
Gotcha. All
Yeah.
right. Well, Hailey, it was awesome working with you this season and last season. And I'm really happy with the project that you came up with us. And I'm happy to chat about it more with you today. And I look forward to seeing what happens with the showcase and with Tarantism Unfolds. And so I look forward to that.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. Me too. I'm so happy to be part of CFCC.
Yes. That was Hailey Nicole Rogers, Season 3 choreographer with Central Florida Choreographers Collaboration. You can see Hailey's project along with dozens of other films in ChoreoCollab Film Fest 2022. ChoreoCollab Film Fest 2022 is screening online until November 20th exclusively at ChoreoCollab.com. We hope you'll join us next time. Keep creating, friends.